Met zo'n met een achter gaat passen, denk ik. Ja.
Dus
Ook met
hier
de keyboard
Hankumdo. Ja, en hier staan dan dus dingen.
Oh, die moet ik ook met het oogje open
Met het oogje
dichtklikken.
zet je Hankumdo op een gegeven moment. Kun je dus dichtzetten. Dan kun je wel baldo aanzetten. Ja?
Oef. Maar je gaat naar boven werken?
Ja, zo'n beetje. Okay. We had a few minor problems starting up, but everything seems to be working. But I also think we have the sun is coming from that direction, so I'm going to move the camera a little bit to here. So David is in the chat again. He's my moderator today. So if you behave bad, he will kick you. Let's just get started, and then we'll see where it all ends. I hope everybody brought his or her sword, because you're definitely going to need this one. I'm going to start with a little introduction of what Hankumdo is. This is also not perfect because now I look dark and the sun is coming right at me. Well, maybe if we... Oh, we're so lucky we've got a very big room here. Let's start here. That gives me a little bit more room. Let me get some cables out of the way. We're getting better and better at this, but nothing perfect yet. Let me see if I stand here. Okay. So today's class is about Hankumdo. I'm going to try from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to give an introduction into what Hankumdo actually is. Okay. Hankumdo is not a traditional, it goes back ages, Hwarang already did it kind of martial art. It's modern. Myeongjin Namkooksanim started it with the idea, hey, we use the Korean alphabet Hangul, and that way people can learn about the sword. I think it wasn't quite finished yet, but in recent years people have been working on it. I hear that the connection is slow sometimes, although over here it says excellent connection. There is a delay. So when I'm talking about 15 seconds later, that's when you get it. Okay, as you can see, we've got our Instagram thing going on. So if you want to put something on Instagram, please follow us there. Okay, everyone should have received a file on Facebook and or maybe in WhatsApp about what we're going to do. There's like a lot of information in there as well. Terminology that I'm going to use. We'll go over it here as well, but not a lot. Yeah. First up with some terminology. This is a mokkom. So there's it's a wooden sword made out of wood. One thing, even though it's a wooden sword, it's a practice sword. Etiquette demands is that you should treat it as if it is a real sword. So this waving around, pointing to people with a wooden sword is a big no-no. So this is a wooden sword. Then we also have bamboo swords. Can you get me one, David? On top, left. So, probably a lot of people are familiar with these kind of swords from Japanese kendo. Kendo, kondo actually is the same thing. So the Korean word for sword is gom. In Japanese it's ken. So when we say mok, kom, mok is wood, gom is what is it? Sword. So in Japanese I think it's bokken. So it's like bok, probably Japanese for sword, and then ken is sword again. But chukdo, is like, oh, it's bamboo, but do is another word for sword. So that can sometimes be confusing because we say Hankumdo, but then we use the gom part for the sword. It's not a Hankumdo, and then that do is a sword. Long time ago, there was a big difference between what is a gom and what is a do. Nowadays, they're pretty much the same. So then we've got kagom and chingom. So this is a chingom, so this means that this is a real sword. And then you can also have it just like this, imitation sword. So that usually means that the blade is not sharp, so you cannot actually cut with it. And quite often it's made of different material as well. So sometimes you've got like aluminum swords, so they're imitation swords, they're a lot lighter than chingom. Then for people who really want to practice hard, there's another kind of wooden sword. We call it like, it looks a bit like a paddle. It's this one. So this kind of wooden sword, the weight is almost similar, or at least a lot more similar to what a real sword would feel like in weight. But then again, it's a lot bigger. So practice with this kind of sword takes, like to get skillful with this kind of sword takes a lot of practice. But it really builds up power that you might need. Although actually, power is something that we're not very concerned with when it comes to sword. We've got a weapon. So a weapon, it already magnifies the power that you have. So just as in normal self-defense that we do, we don't need extra power. So there's never a lot of like muscle power in your technique. Let the weapon do the work. So the weapon does the work for you. Like if you would compare this to a gun, for shooting a gun you don't need a lot of power. Yeah, the gun is already doing that work for you. So when you practice with the sword, not a lot of power is required. So keep that in mind, please. What else is there to say about swords? We've got the terminology for some of the parts. I'm not going to go through all of it. So I already say, okay, you've got gom and you've got do. Then the scabbard or the seat, so that's where the sword is in. We call it kaljib. Kal is knife. So this would be the knife. Jib in Korean is house. So kaljib is like sword house. So the sword goes into the sword house. That's kind of good to know. Then we've got the guard here. So let me show it. So the guard is this part of the guard, so that it protects your hands. The koduni, sunchabi or charu is where you grab it. Kalkip means end, so end of the sword is like the tip of the sword. A lot of other parts of the sword have names as well. No need for us to go into that. What is kind of like maybe funny or important or interesting, Hankumdo wise, is everybody knows that Hankumdo techniques, or like the techniques that Hankumdo is most famous for, is that we write the Korean letters in the air with our sword. The Korean alphabet Hangul, I believe it was in 1443 when King Sejong, and I think David can put up a picture of King Sejong. It's somewhere in the top. Yeah, there he is. This is a statue of him in downtown Seoul. So it was during his reign. Until that time, people were using the Chinese characters, which were hard and didn't quite match the Korean language. So he came up with a system of 24 letters, and which we call Hangul. He wrote a document about it, I think there's a picture there as well. It's on the other side. Well, still difficult to read, but so here, sorry, over there, it's explained like how the system works. So still there's like a lot of Chinese writing there because they had to explain it in a way that people were familiar with. And this document was published in 1443, and that's when Hangul was introduced. First it had a few more letters than it has today. So, but again, those are technicalities that we're not going into. The system has 24 letters in total, and it's like 14 consonants. So you can see them over there. On that side it is, yes, so these are the consonants. And then there's 10 basic vowels. So they're over here. Today we're not really going to do the alphabet yet. That's something that we'll leave for the other days. What we're going to start with today is first some basic sword handling, so how to draw the sword and how to resheath the sword, so how to put it back in the scabbard, and we're going to the basic strikes. So the first thing that we're going to do, it's called baldo. Many people, I think, they still know it as shigom. So when we use shigom, shi is from start, from sijak, gom is sword, so like start with the sword. So probably maybe a term you're familiar with. Shigom, in recent years, we started using baldo. So baldo is the way to draw the sword. So let me take the sword here. We usually put it in between our belt, which is one way to carry it. So make sure is that if this is the sword, so this is like the curve is here, so that one is on top. When you've got one of those plastic scabbards and there's this little ring here, so that one is on the outside, and put it in between. When you're standing like this, it's about an angle of 45 degrees in front of you, and then your left hand rests on the end of it. Not completely over it, but it's more like this. So this is the way you can have it. People are complaining a little bit about the lighting. Sorry, nothing I can do about right now. So baldo in the most basic way, you've got it here. Usually rest your other hand on the sword as well, so people cannot take it away from you. Here, so feet shoulder width apart, slowly like sink in a little bit, and then put your hand on the sword. And what we do, we step out with the right foot, and you bring the scabbard forward. So let me do it from this side. I'm here, hand here, step forward, and bring your scabbard, so you kind of like push your scabbard forward. Here is important, keep your shoulders low, so don't do this, more like this. Actually, push down your elbows like this. And then to draw the sword, first just pull the scabbard back, and then already, for maybe like 99%, the sword is out. So, one more time, let me show it from the side. You've got your hand here on the end, sword in your hand. You're stepping forward, so bring the scabbard forward, shoulders low, and your elbows low. And now, without doing anything with your right hand, just pull back the scabbard here, and now you can bring it out like this. This is what gives you enough space to look. If I leave it here, it gets stuck. So bring it out, shoulders low, elbows low, and just pull back the scabbard here. Then what we aim for is, you've got it here, so when the sword is out, to have the point, the tip, so kalket, right in front of you. Just like a triangle here, one, like this. So don't swing it out all the way. Now you're leaving yourself open, something you don't want. Then we have 4 different kinds of baldo. We've got the straight one. So when I go forward here, I'm just pulling the scabbard back and bringing the sword forward like this. Here, so this one is like vertical. Then we've got one where you pull it back, and while pulling back, I'm giving it a 90-degree turn, so this one goes outside. This is usually the basic one we use, so this is the horizontal one. Then you leave the tip there, bring your hand low, grab it, and assume your position. And then we have one, so we had one vertically going down, horizontal going out, and then you've got one. So now I have to make a 180-degree turn with my sword, one, and that's when I bring the sword up. So now it's like an upward motion to draw the sword, and then bring it down, grab, and hold. Okay. So I'm going to bring it back again. And then there is one more. And I think a lot of people really like it, and usually also when you see like samurai movies, this seems to be kind of like a popular way to draw the sword. And that's where you, instead of grabbing it like with a normal grip, it's like a reverse grip. And people, oh, this kind of like really seems cool, but actually we don't use it a lot, because it's, once you've done this, now to bring the sword back to a normal position takes a lot of time, and just like re-grab it a couple times. So from a strategic point, it's not really that well to do. But if you see movies like Satoichi, like The Blind Swordsman, he uses it a lot and it looks very cool. So that's probably why people like it. I'm going to readjust the camera a little bit. I think if I put it like this, then I have to walk. Can you tilt it a little bit back down? Yeah, this is a little bit better. Okay, so 4 ways to draw the sword in a basic fashion. It's bring the sword forward here, so step forward, pull back the scabbard, and forward like this. Then there is one. Just you start off in the same way, so your opponent doesn't know what you're going to do. And instead of going just straight, make a 90-degree turn and bring it forward like this. And again, start in the same position, but now when you pull back the scabbard, you're making a 180-degree turn, and you bring your sword up like this. And if you want to make it fancy, that's when you do the reverse grip. But as I told you, it's not that practical. Then stepping wise, usually when you start, you just start like this without any steps and pull back. So that's a good way. If you want more of an attack, so you step forward. But if the other person is already coming at you in your lane, you can step back. So there's like a no step and there's a 1 step. Then we also have the 2 step. So the 2 step, you start with your left foot and then out. And then what we want, let me show it from the side, is usually you bring your front foot forward, like with your toes pointing out. You're already bringing this one forward, and then you step, you got it out. And then there's the 3 step. So in 3 step, you start with your right foot, and with your right foot, already you push the scabbard forward. With your left foot, actually it's out, and then with your 3rd step, you can make a strike if you want to. And those, like 1, 2, 3, also possible to do them both front and back. But the goal for today is, well, actually, if you just practice this one, yeah, that should be enough. That's the most basic one that we use. So most techniques that we start, we'll start with this kind of baldo. And then if you can remember, oh, there is a vertical one, as well, actually that's enough. And then if you practice it with the front step and with the back step, that should be enough baldo for today. Okay. From baldo, we're going to nabdo. Let me use the real sword for that. So, nabdo is the way to resheath the sword. One thing usually when you've got like a real sword, is you can put your thumb on top of the guard, accordingly here like this. But also, if you like get your hand back, so now I can already have my sword like a little bit out, so it gives me a little bit more space. So your opponent would expect your sword to be here, but you already gained a few centimeters on him, and it makes it lighter to get the sword out. So, but you can use your thumb here to prevent other people from grabbing your sword. So I'm starting with baldo, 1, out, here, and then we have a few ways to resheath the sword, so to put the sword back in the scabbard. One, the most basic way, I'm going to get in front of the camera as well, but actually it's not a very good way when you're using a real sword, but I'm going to do it anyways, just for you guys. So I'm keeping my sword, like this one is vertical, the sword is horizontal. I'm going to pull it all the way back until I feel that the sword, like tip, falls into the scabbard. Then I'm going to bring it up, and again I'm going to push the kaljib, so the scabbard, I'm going to push it forward, 1, and then return the sword. So that's the basic one. When you've got a plastic sword here, actually, so in front, all the way here until you feel, when you have this moment, turn it forward and return. The other way, the way that I feel is much better, is where, so it doesn't cross the opening of the scabbard. You put it in line with the opening of the scabbard. Then it goes all the way down until it falls in, and you bring it forward like this. So one more time. It's in line with the opening, down and up. And little by little, you can start to make this smaller. So you can start like all the way at the end and all the way down and then in. But eventually, maybe you only need like this much and then in. So one more, let me use the real sword here. So you've got the sword out here. Put it in line with the opening, down, and then push the scabbard forward, take it back, and put your hand on top of the pommel here. So one more time. You're going to put the sword in line with the opening, and eventually you can make this shorter. 1, 2, 3. So that's a good way to resheath the sword, and we call this method nabdo. We used to call it chakom. So we had baldo. We used to call it shigo, and then returning the sword nabdo. We call it chakom. Now we use baldo, nabdo. Remember those terms, please. Okay. So now that you know how to like take your sword out and how to put it back, it's time to start our strikes. The first strike, most basic one, naeryeobegi. Naeryo is down, begi is strike. So you're going to hear the word begi a lot. Yeah, begi is a cut or a strike. Depends. And the first one is naeryeobegi is a downward strike, so vertical. And we've got an exercise for that. So this is not the actual strike. This is the way we're going to start. Is where you sit on your knees, ball of the foot on the floor, sword in front. So first you just make sure that your right arm is straight, here, like this. and then your left hand grabs the sword as well. Another thing is important, keep your left hand closed. What do I mean with closed? A lot of people, they tend to do this so that they hold the sword like this. No, keep it closed. So first thing is keep it closed. So let me see, yeah, from here, one, so keep your left hand closed, and actually your left hand is doing most of the work. So you bring the sword up, all the way up, until you feel how the tip touches your belt here. And now, by pulling your left hand forward, you bring the sword in a straight line down. It should be straight, so don't let it wiggle when you strike. So it's down all the way back, and here in the back it's quite difficult to keep your left hand closed. So then bring it forward. One. The thing is, with your sword, you shouldn't chop. So this would be chopping motion, but you should cut. Like if you've got meat, it's my arm, well, my arm is a piece of meat, but if you want to cut it, this is chop, chop, chop. Doesn't work. You want to slice it off, like this. So with the tip of your sword, you're making a slicing motion. So again, sit down like this, please. So you bring the sword up and down, up and down. Let me do it from the front. So I'm here. So one, so down. And make sure so that here you're not wiggling. Up, down, up, down. Okay. Now you bring it up, and when you strike, sit up like this one. Okay. Also make sure, another thing, is that your sword is now horizontal, so don't keep it like in a 45 degree, like this, but horizontal. So, sword to the back, up and strike. And when you sit down, sword goes back again. Up and strike. When you sit down, sword goes back again. You can also do it the other way around. That's where you're up first, and then, now let me see. So this one is back and then up, and you also have strike up or whatever, then you're up. Now you're bringing the sword back, and when you sit down, you make the strike. So it's up, it's back, strike. So the first one, you're sitting down, bringing the sword back, and when you go up, you make the strike. And now with the second one, when you go up, you bring the sword back, and when you sit down, you make the strike. Sit up, bring the sword back, down, make the strike. Up, down. Again, this is just an exercise. This is not the actual strike. Like in a real strike, I would never bring my sword back all the way like this. I'm putting myself completely open right now, which is not a wise thing to do. But it's a good exercise to make a real nice straight cut. So that's what you should aim for. So this exercise is quite good for it. In the beginning it can be hard on your toes, sure. Just practice, like go for 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, 50 times, something like that. That's one thing I want to say in short. We've got instruction videos and we've got training videos. In the instruction videos, I try to explain as much as possible. But everything that I explain and show, it's not like, oh, do this and then you're ready. No, a lot of these things, you should do them over and over and over again. So making naeryeobegi vertical strikes, like doing 100 in a row, is not something, oh, this is special. No, that's the normal way you should train. So please keep in mind that some of my videos are more instructional and training videos will come up. Just I think that watching a video of me doing naeryeobegi 100 times is probably a little bit more boring than me talking about naeryeobegi. So from this exercise, let's go to the actual naeryeobegi. So I'm here. So now I'm bringing the sword up, and I want it to be just above my head. Usually in the beginning we say Your right hand should be like in front of, like in line with your face, and then your left hand here. Your hand, so not like this because now I cannot see who's coming here. But again, what's important, shoulders low and elbows low. And nothing. So a lot of people will do, oh, I have to strike, so they're going to do something like this. No, just stand here. Next, if you just guide your left hand a little bit down, the sword automatically follows. So you just let it fall down. The only thing your hands are doing is making sure that it falls down in a vertical line. So up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and down. And then we usually add steps to it. A few ways you can do it, like up, step forward. Now when you push your foot down, your left foot follows, slides, and then you make the cut. So back again. Sword goes up. Right foot forward. Then you push it down. Your left foot follows, and you use it to make the cut. And back again. So sword up. Right foot out, ball of the foot, the heel of the foot on the floor. Then when you push your foot forward, the rear foot follows, and at the same time, you make a strike. So you just let the sword do its work. Yeah, again, you don't have to put any power into it. You just have to hold the sword up and let it fall down. The sword will do the work for you. So it's up, step, down, and then we go back. We can bring it up. So now my left foot steps back. It's the ball of the foot of the block. Then I'm pushing my heel down. And I'm pulling my front foot in. And at the same time, I make the strike. So forward, sword up, step, slide forward, make your cut. Back, sword up, step back, slide and make the cut. So again from the side, forward. Up, step, slide and cut. 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 When you go forward, 1, 2, 3, you're putting the weight in your front foot here. But also when I go back, even though I'm going back, I'm trying to keep the weight in my front foot as much as possible. So you're not, like, here forward is kind of like the natural thing to do, but you're not doing this, so you're not falling back into your front foot. The weight is on your front foot all the time, so you bring your sword up, step forward, cut, sword up, and cut, up, cut, up, cut. And then, as in a lot of things that we do, I can divide it up in 1, 2, 3 steps, but eventually it has to become like one motion. So it's like sword up, step, and cut, sword up, step, and cut. And again, I'm explaining it now. Please rewatch this video, listen to what I say, and then repeat. Doing 100 naeryeobegi in one time, again, that's not something special. That's like normal practice. Okay, from naeryeobegi, the vertical strike down, we're going to the diagonal strike down, bitgyeobegi. My producer manages to put the text in the screen. Okay, the naeryeobegi, there's just one strike this way, but bitgyeobegi, I can do it from left to right, or I can do it from right to left. Just as maybe you're familiar with a lot of kicks, when I go forward, I don't want to give away what I'm doing. So if I would make bitgyeobegi and I step forward and I do this, now my opponent already knows what I'm going to do. There are several ways we can do that. I think the one method that a lot of people are familiar with, and that's because they've been doing some bamboo cutting before, is the following. And this one is good if you want to learn, hey, what is the right line for me to actually make a cut? Because of course, you have to use the edge of the sword. The edge of the sword has to be in line. If this is the edge and I hit myself with it with the other side, it's not going to cut me. It maybe can hurt, but it's not going to cut me. But if this is what I want to hit, and I'm hitting it from a wrong angle, again, the cut will not be a clean cut. It will not be as effective as when I hit it exactly with the blade. So this method, I'm going to turn around and maybe you can see a little bit better. Am I still not going on? So this, if I first start with my left foot forward, I bring the sword up again in the same way I would have it for naeryeobegi, and now I'm going to tilt the sword to the left in a 45-degree angle. And I'm going to put the tip in a 45-degree angle as well. And now if I just bring it down, I've got the edge exactly at 45 degree, and I can make a clean cut. So the same way, when I go with my right foot forward, so now I'm tilting the sword in a 45-degree angle to the right, and then I'm putting the tip out 45 degree to the right, and if I just bring it down here, that's a good strike. The thing that you have to be careful is no swing through, so not something like this. 1, 2, just here. A thing where you easily recognize somebody who is not that experienced with the sword yet is when they've got a lot of like swing. You see like at the end of the cut, or they swing all the way through, or they've got a lot of like bouncing of the sword. There's like 1, 2, and keep the sword there. So short low, hit, and keep it low against of it. You sometimes say your weapon is also your shield. So if you are my opponent, I want to try to keep my sword in between you and myself. So if I swing it out, now my shield is gone. I've got no protection anymore. If I hit 1, I've got it here in front. Now I can continue if I want to. So think of your sword not just as a weapon, but also as a defense, as a shield. Okay. The second method that we are using for bitgyeobegi, because I was just telling, hey, if I bring the sword up, I don't want my opponent to know what I'm doing. But of course, if I do like tilt here, yeah, now he knows, oh, the strike is going in that direction. That's something I don't want. So to counter that, I'm going to bring the sword forward here, and when I strike, I'm going to bring one elbow in, and then I also get a diagonal strike. Or if I do it with my left foot here, so I've got my hands up, not like this, but approximately 45 degrees. And when I strike, I'm going to bring one elbow in, and then I also make a nice diagonal cut. So let me show that from the rear as well. Forward, up, and I'm going to make a strike. Now I'm going to bring my left elbow in and cut. If I do another foot, stands up, my right elbow in and cut. Again, keep the shoulders low. Our basic way to do bitgyeobegi is when I've got my left foot forward, I swing the sword from the left to the right. Yeah? There are ways, more advanced, to like make the cut over your leg. That's something for another time in another seminar. So just remember that our basic way is to make the cut like in the open space. This one, because you're cutting over your head or this leg, is a little bit more difficult. Okay. Next strike we're going to cover is supyeongbegi. David, can I have supyeongbegi please? Supyeongbegi is a horizontal strike, and some people will know it as nabdo, but there's 3 kinds of supyeongbegi. There's the hadan, the high one, the middle one, so chungdan, or what we call nabdo because hori is waist, it's in line with your waist, and there's the sangdan, this low one. People will probably recognize this one as well. Today we're just going to do the one at waist level, so still we're going to do nabdo, but the name for all horizontal strikes is supyeongbegi, supyeong meaning horizontal, And then just know there's like 3 levels that you can make your supyeongbegi, and they have different names. But this is not a Korean language class, so you don't have to. I mean, I'm not telling you to remember all these names. If you want to, that's fine. It can be quite helpful if you ever end up in Korea and then somebody's calling, hey, we're going to do supyeongbegi, and then you know, oh, it's the horizontal one. But if you just remember the strike as vertical strike, diagonal strike, and horizontal strike, I'm fine with that as well. Okay, so supyeongbegi. This one we practice from a horse riding stand, kimachaze. And what I'm going to do, I'm putting my right hand forward and putting my right elbow in my side. I'm trying to keep the sword horizontal. Now my left hand here. And just as with a lot of strikes and things that you're all, and Hankumdo things that you're already familiar with, the first thing I'm going to do is just use my weight. So if I just turn my waist, 1, 2, 3, but maintain your horse riding stand, your kimachaze. So don't turn in like this. Like I said Saturday in my Hankumdo webinar, this is a bridge, so maintain that bridge. So just 1 should be just your waist. So if you're just going like 1, 2, 3, and pull with your left hand. So you've got your right hand in your sides, like your left hand, pulling it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to do it from the other side. So my left hand, so the left elbow is in my left side here. This one is a little bit more difficult because my right hand is over, and still I have to make a pulling motion with my left hand. 1, just from your waist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, from the right again. I'm going to do it from the right. I'm going to switch and left. Right and left. In the beginning, I sometimes say to my students, okay, 1, flip it over, 2, flip it over, 4, but this flip over is very bad. So eventually, what you want is like 1, keep the sword as horizontal as possible, and go to the other side. Keep it horizontal, 1, 2, 3. And then for those people who are familiar with Hankumdo, it's not just turning the waist, like put your foot or your weight into your right foot, shift weight, actually push a little bit off with your right foot, 1, and then make a strike. You're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, doing this 100 times in a row is not something out of the ordinary. So when you're practicing this kind of stuff, yeah, stand there, feel the right motion. Only through a lot of repetition can you actually get feeling for what you're doing. Just watching this and then thinking, oh, I understand what Klaas says, that's not enough. You have to like do it over and over and over again. So we have had 3 strikes now: naeryeobegi, bitgyeobegi, supyeongbegi. Now, in between, we're going to do a little exercise. So, you're going to keep the sword here in front of you, horizontal. So this is a good exercise to build up some power in your hands, like make strong hand like this. Okay. I'm going to turn all the way back, but maintain a good structure. I'm going to do 1. Now my sword points out 45 degrees in that direction. Then I'm going back 2 here, 3 there. So front. So now it's pointing front. The second time it's pointing there. First time here. So you start here, it's like 1, 2, 3, and back. 1, 2, 3, and back. 1, 2, 3. With this one, it can be quite challenging. If you've got a normal wooden sword, then doing it like this, actually, you don't feel too much. But what you can do is shift it. So like now the weight is a little bit more on the end. Then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So let's go for 10. So 10 times, so 3 times 1, 2, 3 is 1, and I'm going to do that 10 times. So with me please, like 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3, 8, 2, 3, 9, 2, 3, and 10, 2, 3. And now with the left, maybe you're already starting to feel your arm. Probably not, because I guess no one of you has a pedal like this. But if you are up for a challenge, get yourself one of those and have fun. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3, 8, 2, 3, 9, 2, 3, last one, 10, 2, 3, and finish. So now you should feel your forearms a bit. But again, doing 10 of these in a row is not such a big deal. Let's start with that, but train yourself. So repetition, repetition, repetition. 20, 30, 40 times, eventually should be no problem. Okay, so we've had, again, 3 strikes now. Naeryeobegi, bitgyeobegi, supyeongbegi. Bitgyeobegi is diagonally down. There's also a diagonal strike up. Ollyeobegi, and usually we just call it ollyeobegi. Ollye is go up, begi, as I said before, is strike. So, and just like a normal bitgyeobegi, you can bring it up from the lower right, the high left, or from the low left to the high right. There's the name of the strike. The easy one, right foot is forward, sword is here, is step out with your right foot and just bring your sword to your side like this. Arms are almost straight, at least your left arm is almost straight, your right arm a little bit bent. And again, don't use arm power, just turn your waist up. So just turn your waist and bring your sword up. 1, 2, 3, 4. One thing I haven't said yet, but that is especially with this strike, so what we don't want is where you bring the sword up and then you've got your hand with your wrist like this. No, wrist stay straight. So your sword is here, wrist stays straight. 1. And eventually you cannot go any further. So if I want to go further, and I have to make this bend, and that's something I don't want. This is not structurally sound. There's no power in that. And you don't need to. Your opponent is probably in front of you, and this is enough. You already cut off his arm or his head. No need to go all the way there. So, sorry, let me start over. You're usually like I put my right foot a little bit out, left foot forward, here. And now just from your waist, turn, bring the sword up. Turn, bring your sword up. If you want to, you can push a little bit off with your hand, but not so. Don't push off and lose your balance. 1. Or use your hip a little bit more. 1, like this. On the other side, it's a little bit more difficult. So 1, and now up. So again, first just waist turn. 1. Okay? Do this in front of a mirror so that you see that you don't do something like this or over. Like 1. So you want to keep your here from your waist up, up, up. Ollyeobegi. So you can do like 1, strike, or from the other side strike. Eventually here as well, I mean, if I step forward and I do this, I'm putting myself open, maybe not as much as your sword is in front of you. Actually, you kind of want to like keep it in front of you as much as possible, so don't bring it all the way back and then strike, but one here, then bring it up. Okay, so we have naeryeobegi, bitgyeobegi, supyeongbegi, ollyeobegi. Then there's one more we need to go through. That's jjireugi. Jjireugi is a stab, so I'm stabbing someone. We've got up jjireugi or changbang jjireugi, so it's like a forward stab, and we've got jjireugi or fubang jjireugi for a rear strike. Today I'm just going through the forward strike because that's the one we later need for like learning the Korean alphabet. So sword is in front of you, you slide forward and you strike. So you're pushing your sword in and you're making it like you're turning it in a 90-degree angle. When we learned this technique from Master Han in Korea, he was a high-ranking black belt who stayed in Master Kobe Jones' gym. His name was Han Xiwan, and he did like a lot of sword teaching to us. So he said, okay, you're taking the sword out, and when you strike, you have to get in between the ribs. So you have to turn your sword horizontal and then strike. Or you can step forward your left foot and then strike. So you're making a turn like you're thrusting the sword inside. There is another strike where you just push forward and push the sword out. But the one we use in Hankumdo most is the one with the turn. So left foot forward, and then you're turning the edge pointing to the right. And when I'm stepping with my right foot forward, now the edge is pointing out to my left. Not a very difficult technique. So just step forward, strike, step forward, strike. So maybe you're thinking, oh, but I want a little bit of range, so I'm going to do this. But this is not a very good position. Also, I cannot, this is just like, extending my arm. Still, I want to use my weight to get the sword in. So use your weight to get the sword in. What I find difficult with this one, keeping my shoulders low. You're very tempted to do something like this where you're like all the way up, and this is too much tension. So, keep your one tip, if you want to keep your shoulders low, keep your elbows low. So if I do this, now my elbows go up, that means my shoulders go up. If I think, okay, I'm going to make a strike, one, and I'm going to keep my elbows low, my shoulders stay low, and I'm still relaxed. So that's jjireugi. Oh, we're almost at the end, but not quite. So tomorrow we're going to make a start with the Korean alphabet. So both mo and cha, so there's consonants and vowels. And there's one thing I want to say about that, especially about the the vowels. The vowels are based on the system of chun, ji, in. So it's like a man, heaven, and earth. There should be a chun, ji, in thing somewhere. If you can delete the other one. And so as you can see, there's a dot, and then the dot. So that's heaven. That's a stab. So jjireugi. Earth, the horizontal one. So that's like a supyeongbegi. Mankind is straight here. So the vowels are based on the principle of heaven, earth, and mankind. And David is putting the vowels in place as well. So there you see the vowels. So you can, as you can see, you can all write them by push. Well, I mean, you cannot see my hand exactly, but let me see if I can manage that. Here we've got the ya. Like it starts with the a here, Ooh, a little bit here. So it's like a strike down and then a little dot next to it. And then there's like a strike with 2 dots next to it and things like that. But also the consonants. Can you show me the consonant chart, David? No? For the consonants, all we need is naeryeobegi, bitgyeobegi, jjireugi, and we sometimes need a block. So a lot of like ollyeobegi is not part of the system. You only need to know 3 strikes. So that's the what is it? Naeryeobegi, bitgyeobegi, supyeongbegi, a stab, and you need to know a block, and then you can write all 24 letters of the Korean alphabet with your sword. On Facebook and in some WhatsApp group, I've shared a document, and it gives you the stroke order for the Korean letters. So when Korean kids, when they go to school, well, most of them can actually already read and write by then because it's so easy. But if they want to write a certain letter, there is a certain way to do it. So if it's possible and you're writing it on paper, it always starts in the right hand corner, and then you can go to the right, you're going to the right, then you can go down. So you cannot, if you cannot go to the right, then you can go down immediately, but there will be almost never lines going in the other direction. So you're never starting in the upper right corner and then going to the left. So the stroke order for writing, once you know that, then the strike order for doing the letters with the sword become very easy to remember. So if you can push yourself to actually learn how to write Korean, so tomorrow morning when you've got nothing to do, or if you live in another part of the world where it's now morning, yeah, during the day, get yourself a paper and start practicing how to write those letters. That makes tomorrow and Wednesday's lesson a lot easier for you. Right? Because I'm going through these letters, I'm going, oh, this is like gyok, this is neon, this is kana, darama, all this kind of stuff, and I kind of assume is that you already know how to write most letters. Yeah? There will be, what is it, things in screen that show you the letter as well, but really, if you want to make it easy on yourself, get a pen, get a paper, start writing. Okay? All you need to know is how to draw what is it, horizontal line, a vertical line, a little dot, sometimes a little circle, and a diagonal line, and then you can write Korean. I mean, and come on, it's just very cool to be able to say, hey, I can read Korean. I mean, for me, it really helped me a lot. So just for today, let's go through the things very fast. Again, I'm going to use my wooden sword here. So, first of all, Hankumdo etiquette, treat your wooden sword as if it is a real sword. So don't play with it, even though it's wood, yeah, don't, I mean, I can do it now because there's nobody here. Maybe in your living room, also you don't want to do something like this. Doesn't matter, like, oh, this looks cool, this looks cool. It's not about what's cool, it's about what works. So, first thing we did today, baldo, so the drawing of the sword. Just start, a little bit down, take your sword, shoulders low, elbows low, bring the scabbard forward, pull the scabbard back, and you've got your sword out. And then you can do it with a step forward and take it out, or you can do it with a step back and take it out. And then we saw there's the baldo forward. This one is supyeong, horizontal, and there's the baldo going up. And for those who think they're cool, reverse grip, Yoksul one is. But we also see that sometimes that one can be a little bit impractical. So then next to, or once you master baldo, then comes nabdo. So the basic way, let me get close again. So you put the sword horizontally to the opening of the scabbard, all the way back until you've got this little click, turn it, scabbard forward, and then back. And once you master that one, put it in front of the opening in line, and bring it in, so it's in line, and bring it in, and that you can start all the way here, 1, 2, 3, but you can also just very short, gives you more time. See, so that's nabdo. One thing about nabdos, because sometimes you get stuck with the scabbard, so what you can do is one. So you're pulling the scabbard back and just really keep it here. So now it is of no hindrance to me. I can just make a strike. Because if I wouldn't pull it back correctly and it's still in front of me, now it's difficult. The other thing a lot of people like to do, so when the sword is out, is put the scabbard here on the back. Also then it is of no hindrance. Then we had a couple of strikes. The first one, and really as an exercise, repeat. Start with this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and repeat. And then you can bring it up, come up and strike, sit down, strike, up, strike. The other one was up, and when you sit down, strike. Up, and when you sit down, strike. And then there's one in between. I didn't talk about this one before. That's like where your sword goes to the half, so you're already making a good strike. So up, down, up, down, up, down. As an exercise, repeat. Naeryeobegi from the front, sword up, go out, not too much in, 45 degrees, step forward, drop the sword. Into your front foot. Up, into your front foot. And also in front foot, front foot, front foot, front foot. Bitgyeobegi, the diagonal one. Forward, one elbow in, make your strike. Or on the other side, one elbow in, strike. Supyeongbegi, the horizontal one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? Keep your left hand closed. Right? Closed. Don't want to see this, keep it closed. Ollyeobegi, use your waist to bring the sword up, but you cannot make like just a turn. So eventually you have to although your waist is turning, you have to guide your sword in a straight line. So from the other side, waist is turning, but your sword has to go. If I'm turning and I'm also making like a round moon-like shape with my sword, that's not a good cut. So your hip turns, but the sword goes out straight. And the last one, jjireugi, stab forward or stab backward. And then again, remember, these are just the basic ways. There's a lot of other ways to do it as well. The basic is, naeryeobegi, right foot is forward, right foot is forward. So there's no reason why you cannot step with your left foot forward. It's possible, it's just not our basic method. I already said in bitgyeobegi, our basic is hit to the open side. There's no reason why I cannot step forward and make like an over my leg strike. The same true, this is ollyeobegi from this side, but I can also like step forward and still make my ollyeobegi. Doesn't feel right if you do it for the first time and you're used to the basic way, but it's possible. First get yourself used to the basic way, and then when you start doing the other method, it should feel strange at first. If it feels strange, it means that the other way has become natural. Yeah? So that means you're on the right track. Okay, that's it for today. We've passed the hour mark. I hope you liked it, so keep practicing. Again, this video is more instructional and not really training. Training, do the same thing over and over and over again. So that's it for today. See you tomorrow. Have a good one. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Don't go outside. Yeah? Only together we can actually beat this virus. Thank you very much.